Ciao ragazzi! Ciao, sono la prof. Allora, adesso vi spiego il condizionale. Il condizionale è un mode. It's the one that has to do with conditions in theory. So if this and this happens, then I would do this, right? So if I won the lottery, I would buy a house with a view on the ocean. I would totally do that. Or we, just like in English, we can use it for a kind request. For example, I could say, switch the light off, right? But that's not very polite. But if I want to ask you politely, I will say, could you please switch the light off? You can use it to give advice. Oh, I would go to school early and ask my teacher for help if I was having trouble. Or a wish. So, oh, I'd love to go to Italy tomorrow. So, how do you do all of this? Let me see. Okay. So, if I were rich, I would go on vacation, is one example. Or, would you close the door, please? If I were you, I would go to bed. So let's see how this happens in the real world. So in Italian, we have verbs in are, ere, and ire. So verbs in are, what you do is you remove the e, right here, you move the e, and your a becomes e, and then you put the r back, and then you add your endings. So that will become lavorerei, lavoreresti, lavorerebbe, lavoreremmo, lavorereste, lavorerebbero. This is a little counterintuitive for English-speaking people because these are really, really long words, and you're not used to long words like these. So let's see what happens to ere and ire verbs. Here they are. So again, you just remove the e and you keep all the rest. So you see how your root is super big, super long. So now you add the same endings. It doesn't matter if it's an are or ere verb, you will keep the same endings. So now you have scriverei, scriveresti, scriverebbe, scriveremmo, scrivereste, scriverebbero. And these are the endings. I figured out how not to have that up. Perfect. So that's it. These are the irregular verbs, and this is how I teach them. So I have this little convention. I call this list Sad Cap VV. Okay, so this is the list. S for sapere, A for andare, D for dovere, C for cadere, A for avere, P for potere, V vedere, V vivere. As you can see, they are all adverbs except from andare. There always has to be an exception. And why are they sad is the question. So you see sapere, what happened to it is you put the usual endings, but what happened is that one vowel went away. So this is what happened. You see? The E, the A, and all the other E's go away, so it compresses a little bit, and then you'll end up with saprei, sapresti, saprebbe, sapremmo, sapreste, strapebbero. Or andrei, andresti, andrebbe, andremmo, andreste, andrebbero. We have another one. My students help me with this. So Vanessa baked ravioli, veal, and tortellini. So that's volere, bere, rimanere, venire, and tenere. Of course, they are all adverbs except from one, which is ire. This is awkward. So, what happens to these? All right, so these are two other examples of how we can memorize these. Allora, what you see from the graph is that you remove pretty much the whole verb, and you're only left with the first two, letters, except, of course, there's always an exception from rimanere, where you have the first 4 letters. And rimanere means to remain, so more letters remain. But because you took so much away, now you're going to overcompensate with that and add a double R. So this is my double R category. So berrei, berresti, berrebbe, berremmo, berresse, berrebbero. Okay, essere. Essere, which means to be, is almost always irregular. But these follow suit. Fare, stare, and dare. They are all are verbs, so in theory, this A should become E. But I don't know if it's because they're very common verbs, but no one bothers switching that. And so they all follow the exact same rhythm of essere. So essere just becomes sarei, saresti, sarebbe, saremmo, sareste, sarebbero, which makes no sense, right? Because it starts with an E and it completely has nothing to do with the original verb, basically. Va bene? But you can see it here, actually. Ser, right there in the middle. So, sarei, sareste, sarebbe, sarei, saresti, sarebbe, saremmo, sareste, sarebbero. So fare will simply, you switch the S and the F, and it will be farei, faresti, farebbe, faremmo, fareste, farebbero. Stare, you put the T in the middle, starei, staresti, starebbe, staremmo, stareste, starebbero. Dare will be S and the D, darei, daresti, darebbe, daremmo, dareste, darebbero. So once you learn essere, you're all good to go. Okay. These are not exceptions. You just have to remember that all verbs that end in ciare and giare, you will get rid of the extra of this I, and it just becomes comincerei. I don't know why. So io comincerei, tu cominceresti, lui comincerebbe. You just get rid of it. And care gare verbs, all the verbs that end in care gare, so this is not an exception. This is just a category. What they do to maintain that sound, you will add the H for all for all subjects. Io giocherei, tu giocheresti, lui giocherebbe, noi giocheremmo, voi giochereste, loro giocherebbero. And that's because I want to honor this. Okay? So there you go. So gare, example, pagherei. And this is the chart of the two. Okay, and here it is. This is the chart of everything. Okay, sad cap VV, double R, essere, ciare and giare, care and gare. Okay, now we have 4 verbs. Nobody likes these. And if I didn't teach them in class and I don't tell you to do them, I guess you can stop the video now. But let's take a good look because these are actually very commonly used. So, volere, which means to want. Once you turn it into a subjunctive in English, it becomes would like, right? Then we have potere, which means could. So it would be able to or could. So you see, now in English, you cheated. You don't have would plus the verb anymore. You use could and you turned it into one only, which is a little crazy. I don't know. So now we can officially say that both Italian and English aren't easy. And dovere, it's not I would. Oh, you actually do say I would have to. I put it there in little, would have to. Or should. You guys also say should. And then the other one is piacere, which means would like. So if you're struggling with this one, just switch to that one and don't worry about it. So this is what was going to happen. These verbs are the working verbs. So io vorrei what? Andare. So what you would like plus the verb at the infinitive. Io vorrei andare in vacanza. Noi potremmo mangiare il gelato. Voi dovreste riposarvi un po'. E mi piacerebbe ascoltare la musica.